Deadly, and today we're talking about something that is front of mind for a lot of people on the Big Island and Maui, rat lungworm disease. There are several cases that have been contracted on the Big Island and Maui, and it's a horrible reality for some people, including Tricia Mynar. And so we want to spread awareness so that this doesn't happen to someone else. So Tricia's here to tell you her story. So Tricia, why don't you tell me first how it is that you got rat lungworm?
Well, I was away working for my job, and while on the Big Island, I had a salad, and it was a week before on a Thursday, and I had to go back to the Big Island again. So I had another salad, my favorite salad, and I started getting flu-like symptoms within the first 3 days. So after getting the flu-like symptoms, I love what I do for my job working. So I asked for some Tamiflu pills to just get over the flu symptoms, and I got a bad reaction of it. When I say that, it was like people kneading in the back of my back, pushing forward from my shoulder blades all the way towards my lungs, and trying to force through the front of my chest. I couldn't sleep. I had to stand at my kitchen counter and put my hands on the counter to hold my body up. So I literally slept 2 nights standing. I couldn't have any types of wind touch my skin because my nerves were very hypersensitive. And then it kind of died off, so I went back to work. And then pain started happening in my feet. And eventually we found out that it was like my nerve ending snapping in my feet. And it was feeling like there were fire ants, hundreds of them crawling on my feet. And I called it in another article. It was like there was a luau of fire ants. And when the party was over, 7 stayed back. So I always had pain in my leg. And so that's how it first started. And then the pain just traveled throughout my body. My headaches, nowhere near the worst migraine that you could feel. It impacted the left hemisphere of my brain, which damaged a lot of the right side of my body. At this point, we can't say if it's going to be permanent damage or not. So we just wait to see when the medications wear off. But the pain was extreme. I'm a mother of 3, and I would go through labor every day compared to the pain that I had. So I would never want anyone to experience this. I've had some friends. I've made new friends who are experiencing this currently. We've become buddies where every morning we share either words of scripture or words of strength to keep us going through this. And we learn from each other's notes of what we learn, of whether it's our diets or our medications that doctors are giving us. But through this entire thing, it's been my push for awareness. I'm a preschool teacher by trade, and I would hate for a child to have this, or a single mom, because there would never be anyone to take care of their child, or a pregnant mom, because the fear of losing their child. The pain is just excruciating. Right now I use a walker to try and learn to walk. The goal is to get on crutches so that I can maneuver a little better. The most recent challenge is that I lose my equilibrium. So a lot of my left side of my body, I will be walking straight and tilt and hit walls because I can't walk equally because of my equilibrium is off. There's been some humorous times where I get tremors, and so we'll find fruits across the kitchen table because I can't get the food in my mouth. So for me, I think out of all of this, I don't want people to have fear. Everyone's fearful about vegetables. it's not the fear of eating the vegetables. It's learning how to process it, how to clean it, how to take your time and prepare meals instead of being in that rat race of hurrying things up and just rushing it. Take your time and learn. I'm finding out that people are learning how to get rid of the rodents, which is the cause of all of this. And I wish people would speak out and share what you're learning. I was afraid of of sharing what I'm learning, and it took me a while to post on Facebook, but I realized that if you're ashamed of what you're experiencing, you're not helping anybody else. And so, educator by trade, I just want people to learn from one another, you know. Just be helpers. That's what we're here for, to learn from each other. So,
well, thank you for being so strong and sharing your story. I know there are a lot of questions out there. You talk about fear, and I think it's the unknown that causes that fear. So one of the questions that people had was, how long did it take for you to realize that it was rat lungworm, and about your medical journey and discovering that? And, also, how is Maui's medical community able to help you?
well, I'm fortunate. When I first got this, we thought it was the flu. So we treated it as the flu. And so what happened was, when I went back to work on the Big Island, what was happening was I felt that pain sensation in my right foot. So I went back to my doctor to get some anti-inflammatories for my foot. 2 days later, symptoms never changed. So we started evaluating, maybe I ate something. So we actually thought that I ate some kind of bad fish, because I love fish. So we did the test, and we found out that the parasitic levels in my blood was off. So we treated it as if I ate some bad fish. After I got that pill, something within me told me there was still something wrong. So I went back to my doctor, and within a half an hour from being in his office, he sent me to the ER. He already knew by the more explanation I gave him. Sat 5 to 6 hours in my Memorial Hospital emergency room with a blood pressure of 203 over 104, sitting there. The pain level in my head, they usually scale it 0 to 10. I was at a 22. And you have to wait in line. I was blessed because as I got into the ER, there was a doctor there that transferred from Hilo. So he was aware of it. I was also blessed that my doctor called into the ER to give them a heads up that I was coming down. So I was very fortunate with the doctor that I have, that he knew, and he alerted everyone immediately. When I got into the medical center, they put me into isolation because they were not sure if what type of meningitis. While I was there, they treated me. I had no problems with the nurses, and I think it was because they did not know how to deal with me. So they were very fragile. I called the room my Dracula's den, because if you notice, I have my glasses on. I was the hypersensitivity to light or sound. I could hear people's feet from 2 doors away sliding on the floor. Any light that would come through the blinds, I couldn't tolerate. So I literally lived in darkness for a week until I came home and my parents darkened out my bedroom, so I could be comfortable. But I think because no one knew what it was or how to treat it, they did the best that they could at my memorial.
You think that if someone contracted it now, that the treatment would be better?
I think because there's more cases of it, yes, because the only way you can detect it is by puncturing your lumbar, by having a spinal tap. So there's a lot of people now that I'm hearing that are freaking out because they got symptoms, but it's really the flu. So I look at it like, if you're not going to have the spinal tap and you go along with the disease, you're going to get permanent damage. And it's proven. There's cases in Hilo. I've read them. I've read a lot about this. I've gone online and there's documenting about these things. And people who are in fear, there's something called the internet. Go research, go learn, and write your lists of questions and ask your doctor. That's what I've been doing. You know, you can't battle fear without exploring the answers. So that's what I've been doing.
We have an article at MauiNow.com for ways to protect your family, how to wash your produce, vegetables, and fruits, and all of that. So make sure that you head over to our website for some of that information and more resources. Now I wanted to I have some questions that some Facebook friends have for you, because this is all about, just helping people to feel more at ease and to feel like they have control, and that this doesn't have to happen to them. Do you know if there's been a common thread between the people who have contracted it?
So like I said, I've made some friends, and our symptoms are very similar. So we've been comparing notes, where they've been eating and how they contracted some of this stuff compared to myself. From what I understand, I'm the only one that contracted it from Hilo compared to the rest of the cases here on Maui. But every day there's one person that I'll contact via email or on texting, and his symptoms are exactly as mine. So looking at our eating habits and things like that, we've been starting to compare notes and on how it makes us feel better. But they're common threads, the symptoms from beginning to end.
What about contracting it? Was it from leafy greens or?
From what I understand, myself and the person that I contact a majority of the time, it's been from leafy greens. From what I understand, the third person was actually from a solid, like an avocado.
Where do you now buy your fruits and veggies? Does it matter, or it's more about the cleaning?
So my next, I've been trying my best to get on Facebook to help people to learn about it, and trying to help people overcome the fear. So I just ate a salad 2 days ago, and I actually bought it from up here at the pharmacy. My parents are making salads again, and we're just taking our time to just wash your greens. Just wash your greens. Stop rushing in the world.
Did you detect anything as you were eating those salads? Did you see a slug trail or an organism?
There was nothing that I could notice. It was a nice fresh salad. It's my favorite salad that I eat when I go there all the time.
Do you think there should be more guidelines for stores and farmers that sell produce?
Yes. There's all this big, I don't know, I'm probably just making this statement is going to open up a whole nother can of worms. We're just making this big push about GMO, farm to table, and I'm working on actually one of those projects for a company I work with, and it's great to do that, but can we please start educating people on how to process? What does the processing plant look like? When we get children in all these gardens that we're starting all over our community, are we teaching them how to wash their hands? Are we teaching them how to wash the vegetables? If you're producing by bulk, you get certified for the facility. But my question is the facility big enough for bulk? Because in today's society, we're looking for bulk. So if you have a sink that is only capable to put in so much vegetables, are we overstuffing it? What is the specs when you go in there and look at these things? And the other thing that people are focusing on so much is the slugs. It starts from the rodent. And so what are we doing in warehouses to protect the cans and the vegetables that people are popping open to drink because they should be washed? And that's what I've been telling people. The rodent has started what I had. But the rodents, you can get a different type of disease by drinking a can of soda that sat in a warehouse that a rat feces was on it. So the slug is one for what I have, but what are the specs for the rodent?
So obviously that question opens up a whole bunch of other questions as well. I do want to tell you that my son's school within a day had an email out to all the parents telling us what they were doing for their garden in the school, how they were protecting, I'm going to cry, how they were protecting our kids. And it was actually the only real piece of information that I had for a long time, you know. And like I said, Maui Now, we do have an article as well. And so thank you for helping people to raise awareness, to have a greater interest, to learn more. And that leads me to tonight. There is a meeting and people can go learn. Tell me more.
So the Department of Health, as well as some people from the University of Hawaii, are supposed to be having, well, not are supposed to be, they will be having a meeting over at the Haiku Community Center, and the doors will open at 5, and the meeting will start at 5:30 to 7. And I strongly encourage people to go. And what I've been telling people is, don't go angry. Go with an open mind to learn. That's all I'm asking. Don't be angry. It's here, and don't fight it. Just learn about it and help each other. That's all we can do. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Tricia. I know it's been really hard dealing with everything that you've been dealing with. We're so sorry.
I could take my glasses off, but it's hypersensitive to light. So I try my best to take it off once in a while. So hopefully tonight when it's dark, someone will see what I really looks like.
You're going to go tonight?
I'm gonna go. I have this perspective that it's different to see and read, but I feel like I want people to see it, because not just to instill fear, but this is my reality. And I would hate to see this be someone else's reality. So
well, we hope for the best for you. I know you've changed your diet. You're feeling a little better. So we hope that it's not permanent, that you're turning a new leaf. And
I've declared it's not going to be permanent. I've declared it's not going to be permanent. I have a lot of angels watching over for me. I've seen through Facebook prayers coming from Connecticut, Tennessee, and Florida, all over. So I told my parents I love them dearly, but I'm going to be out of here in 2.5 weeks. So I've declared it.
Tricia had to move in with her parents so they could care for her. Thank you so much for sharing. Hui ho, I'm Malika Dudley. Go to our website, mauinow.com, for more information on the meeting this evening and more about rat lungworm disease.